Good evening, guys. So this time we'll talk about how we can connect Excel with the MS Access database and through VBA code. I received this question from one of my subscribers, and this is what he has written. Hi Ajay, love watching your videos. Keep up the great show. I'm looking for your help. Thank you so much, first of all, for the appreciation. Would you be able to upload a video on the Excel connectivity with Access? In my office, I want to prepare a code using VBA that can update my Access table. Team doesn't know MS Access, so they'll work on the Excel and click somewhere, and table should automatically get those entries. I have a sheet name, data, and data has below headers. Uh, F name, first name, last name, employee ID, age, and date of joining. Thanks, you're one of subscribers. Right. So thank you so much for your email. You haven't provided me any Excel data attachment. So anyways, that's fine. What I did is, according to your headers, I have written these headers over here in Excel, and some of the dummy data I have written here, first name, last name, and employee ID and date of joining. So for those who do not know anything about the Access is a database which is used to store the information generally. Though you can do a lot of things, like you can run the queries, you can prepare the forms like you prepare the forms in Excel VBA. So Access is a database where when you have a lot of constraint in terms of storing the data, so Access generally people use, right? Because Excel is a very powerful, very good tool in terms of analysis and doing the calculations. But when you have a huge data, then Excel is not a good option to use. So MS Access we use because it can store up to 2 GB of data, right? So let me just show you. So I've already prepared this MS Access database, which has a name 1.accdb, which is the extension, and this is the table. And you can see that this is the blank table right now, and it has the headers, first name, last name, employee ID, and date of joining. So now what he actually wants to do is he wants to create a VBA code in Excel, so that with just one click over here, these numbers can be entered into Access table. And in case if we increase these numbers, these entries, somebody writes here something, then that can also be included in that table, right? So this is how the Access table looks. It is on my desktop. So let me show you what exactly how we can actually achieve this. So let us just close this. So let's come back to your this developer tab, your this Visual Basic, and over here I'm going to write the code. So let me tell you how you can connect first of all. So I'm going to do this using the early binding. Now what does that mean? That means that I'm going to set up the connection in the very beginning, and I will tell my Excel that I will be using the MS Access files, MS Access libraries, MS Access classes. So to do that, you need to first go to the tools and the reference and click on this option, Microsoft ActiveX Data Object Library 2.0, right? You can choose a minimum the version over there. Now this is available here because I have already checked this, but in your case it will not be there. So you have to do one thing, click on the M and then go to the Microsoft libraries, and there you'll see all these libraries. So when you work with the MS Access, you need to have this active data object library on. So I have activated this with the minimum version 2.1 library. You can choose any of the library, but choosing this library will help me because if you are using any Access which is which has a higher version than 2010, 2010 is my version, then it will automatically pick up the things, right? So just keep a check mark on this and then press OK, and then what will happen is you'll get this, start getting this, seeing this library over here. We also call it ADO, right? ActiveX data objects. So they are actually used to connect with the MS Access. Otherwise, how will Excel VBA will come to know that we have to actually connect with the MS Access? So this is how you do. Now let's quickly prepare this code. So I'll say that export Excel table to, let's say, Access, right? Now first of all, let us quickly set up this Excel worksheet. So I'm going to use some classes here. So I'll say that define this variable, this WB as workbook, and then I'll set this WB as this workbook, right? And Similarly, you can declare this variable as, I'll just tell you why I'm doing this. We are using these objects, these classes, so that we can access this directly through we don't have to write specifically that we are on the sheet data, and then we'll start our range A2, A3 and A4, and so many things. So we are declaring our objects, we are declaring these objects, and we are assigning these values to our variables. So now this would be sheet. I know my sheet, which is data, as the subscriber has said that he's using the data sheet, so I have used this, right? So, and when you deal with the object, you declare them in the set. Now I think we are through with this. Now what else is required? Maybe we'll use a loop, and we declare this as integer, and I say that that's fine. So we'll run a loop in this Excel, and one by one we'll try to insert these records into the Access. Now I have to tell you one thing. We also need to set up the connection with the MS Access. So what you need to do is, over here you need to set up the connection. So I'm declaring this as ADODB.connection, right? Now you won't get this ADODB if you uncheck the option. Now I'm getting this ADODB because I have check marked that access ActiveX library in the tools and references. That's why I'm able to access these ADOs, right? Active Data Object. So this is how you write the connection, and you have to again open the connection. So this is how you'll say that connection is equals to new connection, so that it is going to set up the connection between Excel and Access, right? So what else we need to do? We need to take care of other things as well, like we need to provide the engine, which engine we are using. MS Access database has engine, right? So I'm using 2010, so 2007, 2010 or 2013 you will actually use this engine, which I'm going to write here, and this is how you write connection.provider equals to Microsoft dot ace dot OLEDB dot 12.0. I guess that's what you write, but I have it written here separately. This is the one, Microsoft.ace OLEDB 12.0. This is for the Excel 2007 onwards versions. If you are using the MS Access 2003, then you can use this engine, which is .4.0, Microsoft.jet, right? So that's the engine we used to have in MS Access database in 2003 version, but now they have significantly increased the engine, and this is now more powerful, and this is how you write the things, right? So now after this, when you have the provider, when you set up the provider, what you need to do is you need to open the connection. You need to set up the relationship between the Access and Excel. So how will you do that? You need to open this, and so you have to copy this. This is on my desktop, as you can see here. This is my database, and I'll copy the address. This is on my desktop. I'll go to the properties, and I'll select this option, copy this address, and then I'll paste it here, and then this is the name, Access database. This is the extension. In 2003 the extension is MDB, so if you are using the 2003 then you can use MDB, but I'm sure, you might be using, I guess, 2007 or 2010 at least, because now every company is using 2010 or maybe 2007, if not the upper version. So that's how you write the things. Now what you need to do is I need to declare one more variable because I need to run a query. Now you might be wondering that what exactly does that mean, the query. See, you can check the you can surf a lot on the Google. Maybe you can see, let's say for example, you can go to this Google over here, and you can type in that how to insert the records, right? What is the insert query in MS Access? So it's actually MS Access query which we use, but when we want to connect, so I'll say that insert query in Access. So I guess it's so that's the query. You can go to this MSDN site, and there you'll see that what query exactly we have. So this is the query insert into, and the target means the table name, and then the bracket start and field 1, field 2, whatever the fields you have, right? So this is the query which you actually need to insert. So I'm not going to copy it because I know I work on the axis, but in case, just in case you don't know, then you can search this. So what it does is it inserts the records, right? And so generally these are the SQL statements, SQL language, right? This is structured query language. So SQL syntax is also used in VBA. When you connect this with the MS Access through SQL, actually, this string command, SQL command, you can insert the records. So let us create this. So I'm going to declare here dim, let's say query as string, because it is going to be a string. And so query is going to be, it is going to look like this. Insert into, that's a standard statement. Now here you will write the table name. So what is my table name? I have to see it. So let me just open it again. I just forgot what was the table name. Yeah. So that's my table name, data T, right? So I have to, what I need to do is I need to write here that, the table name data T, and then I need to write here values, which is again keyword of this query, and then I'll start the brackets, right? Sorry about this. So now once you have this a number, what you need to do is you need to actually put the headers. So right now I'm going to write here F name, L name, and then employee ID, and the last one is the date of joining, right? So this is how you actually write the query, and it has to be within the strings, right? This is going to actually go like this, and you will have these quotes over here. So now what we want to do is we want to assign the variables to these names. So you can write here sort of this stuff. Let me tell you, first of all, run the loop, come back to the Excel, we'll come to this insert query again. First of all, run the all the the loop on this, and get these all records one by one. So I'll say that for I equals to 1 to how many rows I have? I have 5 rows here, but in case if in future it is going to be increased, then you can make it this dynamic. So you can say here sheets, and then you can select the data dot range. Let's say that it is going to come from the A 10,000 and Excel up and the row, right? So this will do what? This will do, I'll tell you what it is going to do. It will go to the A 10,000, and from there it will do it will go to the up control, up arrow, and then it will catch that row number, which is going to be the last filled entry. So our loop will cover all the entries one by one. Now under this, what we want to do is we want to say that the very first variable, let's say let's give this variable a name. So I'm gonna name this let's say var1 as string, and then var2 as string again, last name, and then var3 again as string, and then we have the last one, which is var4, which is going to be as date, right? Now here what we'll do is, once this loop will start working, you can say that var1 is going to be equals to what? It is going to be equals to this sheet, existing sheet. Remember, now we don't have to define the sheet, we have already defined this sheet. We will use this WS, because WS is a variable which has a class called worksheet, and under that worksheet this is a part of this workbook, which means the code where I'm writing, and this is going to be my data sheet. So I'll simply say that range, maybe I'll say that cells, and the row number is going to be, let's say, let's give this a variable row number. The column number would be 1, and the value would be equals to, yeah, that's it, right? And you have to define the row number as well. So we'll define here dim row number as long, and the row number will start from 2, because I am on the second row. The first row has records which I do not want, right? So you have this, and now you need to copy this again and again 4 times, because you have the 4 values, and we'll assign these values one by one. So var2 will have what? It is going to have the row number 3, and the column has to be 2, right? On the B column, this last name RE, Similarly, for var3 we will have the column 4, and for var4 we have the column 4, right? That's it. So have some indenting. Now I think after this loop gets run, what we want to do is we want to increase the row number so that it should go to the next row, and it looks for the GST. So after the loop but, so I'm going to increase this 1, right? Now once you have this data, what you want to do is you want to set up this query, cut this query from here and put it here, because once we have all the records from the second row, we would like to execute this query, right? And so we have to set up this query. This is very important. So insert into data t, that's the table name, so that's fine. So till this level, this is fine. Now put the AND operator, and now put it, this is within the quotes. Now because these are the variables, so first name is what? It's var1, right? Last name is what? It's going to be var2, and this one is going to be var3, and this is going to be var4, right? So you have to concatenate this in order to make this string. So this single quote has to be put in within the quotes again, and then again you use this and then again this quote has to be within this and within this quotes, and we are joining them one by one. It looks a little difficult, but then you can, once you do it by yourself, next time it will be very easy for you. So we have to cover these quotes, you know, these when you write the VBA code, these are not the basically double quotes, these are single quotes. So this is required there, right, when you actually use the variables. So that's why I'm going to cover them within the quotes, because I'm concatenating them, right? So maybe we can go to the next line so that it can be visible, right? So now this will take a little time, but we will adjust this, and so we have this, I got this and then again I'll put the and then again and then within this quote this one, and then again and I guess that's, we are fine with this, and press enter. Let me just increase the width. Yeah, this underscore is for the next line in the continuation. This is what you write, right? And then again this quote is going to be within the and var3 is my variable, so I'll not put this within the quotes. var3, var4, var1, var2, these are all the variables. So I'll put it again this within the quotes, and I'll join this with and operator. So and again you need to put this comma as well in the quotes, and then and again, and then again and var4 will leave it as it is, and then this is going to be again within quotes, and then I'll have and I think we are done. Alright, so we have still issue. Alright, so the issue is this and this has to be within the quotes. Yeah, okay, so we have an issue here. Let me delete this because it is already concatenated. So we have one more issue over here. Yeah, so we have to use one and over here as well. Perfect. Now it will give you the error in case if you are not able to make this query properly, right? So let me put the watch here and you will come to know what I exactly mean. Put the watch here. So we'll have a watch here. It's not required. Let me double click on it and let me fit this. So you have the query over here, right? Now I think this is good to go. Last thing which you'll write here, once you have this query, you need to run this. So you'll say that execute what? Connection execute. Remember this syntax. This is you know, this is now, this variable is setting up the connection between the access and Excel, right? And we have already defined this in the above statement, which I'll just come to that. But for right now, you need to write here query. Now this is what? This is this insert into statement. So remember again, this is a SQL statement. This query is SQL statement, right? which is used in MS Access, which is used in databases, in fact you can say. Now some people get confused at what is SQL. They think that SQL is a database. SQL is not a database, it's a language which is used in databases, right? So it could be MS Access, it could be SQL Server, it could be MySQL, which is not a product of Microsoft. So this is called the structured query language. This is a you can say a language which we need in order to work on these databases. So to connect with the Access, we need this SQL statement, and that's how we have written this. If you use it in Excel, it is going to be very easy. I'll go ahead and upload a video on MS Access as well, and I'll talk about there on the insert query. So there you don't have to write this. You can simply use the query, and a SQL statement is generated. So this is what I have written here. Now I think we are done with this. Let us first of all quickly run this and see if it is working or not. If it has some errors, then we'll see to it, and thereafter I'll tell you what exactly it is doing, right? So let me just go through this once again. I think we are good to go. Yeah, I think we are good to go. So I've already had this MS Access database empty, you can see here, right? So let me just try to run this and see if we are going to get this all the values done or not. So let's press F8. So there we go. Alright, so the first problem is object variable with block not set up. Alright, so what is the issue? Okay, so the problem is, let me reset this. You haven't set up the connection. This set line equals to new connection. This has to come above this, because unless you have the connection set up, you can't provide the provider. So first of all, we will say that the connection is set up, and then we'll give the engine, right? And I guess the rest is fine. It should work now. Let's see. Let's press again F8. There you go, right? Now it has opened the database. Now we'll run this. Now this I equals to 1, and this is going to be the fifth, because fifth is the last row. So this loop will run 5 times, I'm sure. And now this cell will have this value, row number 2, and the column 1 is RED. So I'm sure I'll get this RED, you can see here. And now var2, I'm going to execute. This is going to give me the last name because it is on the second column, and similarly all the values. So we have all the values here. var3 has 2, 3, 4. Perfect, very nice. Now let us see if we are able to run this query or not. Now read this line. This is what exactly I have shown you in the Microsoft website. Insert into the table name and the values you write within this code like this. Let me just increase it, the width, so that you can see it. Now guys, can you see these single quotes within red, RE234? These are there. Why they are there? Because you have concatenated them separately within the quotes, right? So this is something which is required when you write the query. And if I show you this back again over here, this is what we written, right? Insert into, and the target is your table, and thereafter you have the field name, field 1 comma field 2, and then comma dash dash dash, right, and so on, right? So this is how, and this is within the brackets. So that's what we have actually written over here, right? So this is now going to insert the brackets, but it will not insert the bracket up till now. It is ready to execute the query, and this command connection.execute will run this query, which is this insert into. So the moment I press F8, it is going to run now, right? So after it has executed the first row, maybe we can check here. We can double click here the table. You can see here that I have got the data from the Excel. Wonderful, right? So I've got the first record. Now what about the second record? So for the second record, what I said is, after executing this, let me just show this Excel file. Now once you are through with this, now you need to increment the row number by 1, so that the next time we should pick up the row number 2, right? So that's what I'm going to do now. Row number 3, I beg your pardon, because now row number 3 will have what? Row number 3 is now going to have, let me execute this. So let me just check. We have the row number 2 here. Let's see. Are we getting? No, we are not getting this row number incremented. which is quite strange. All right, so uh, what we did is, I guess we should have written here before next, right? That's my mistake. All right, and it should not be written here, right? So when you run the loop, it happens. Before going to the next, it should increment the this number. So let us quickly reset this, and let me just delete this again. Select this and delete. So I'm going to delete this record. Yeah, I want to delete. Fine. So now it's empty. Now let's run this code again. So this is how I've started this. Now this connection CNX, you can write it whatever you want. This is a variable. I've set it the ADOB DB connection because I'm going to access this through the ADO technology, active data object, right? Some people even use DO connection, so that's fine. I use this, so that's why I have written here. I prepared this code with the same technology. Now everything is fine. Now here, this is how you set up the connection with the MS Access. Now you have to tell which engine you actually are going to use. So that's what for the 2007 onwards version. I'm using the 2010. So this is how the things are open. Now connection, in order to open the database, you can write this connection dot open and you give the complete path to the Access database. Now thereafter, what I did is I simply set up some variables WB and WS. I assigned them a class called workbook and worksheet so that I can work on them very nicely. So this setup WB says that I'm gonna work on this workbook, and this set WS equals to this WB dot sheet says that this WS is a part of WB. WB is what? WB is this workbook. So in this workbook, what is my sheet? This is my sheet data wherein I need to work. So this is what I said, that now run the loop from 1 to the the last row, which is the 5th row. This code will give me the 5. In case if it increases in the future, I'll have this value changed. So now I set up all the variables which I have already told you. Now just this query will run and this will execute. Now the next time the row number will be increased, and this time we'll get this row number as 3, right? So now you will have your these variables as GST and then TE and then 543 and then the 23rd of August. This is what you're exactly getting here, right? So let us run this, and now this time it will run for the last time, and there we go, right? It's because I has completed its 6, which means that we were on the actually 6th row, right? So we are through with this. Now let us see that whether we have got the entries in the table or not. So this is how you got all the entries. All the 4 entries are here. So that's how you can create your this connection, and you can open the database, and from there you can do this stuff. Now similarly, you can even do one thing. You can create a button over here for people who does not know Excel. Just go to the shapes and just create this button, and right click here, assign macro. So you need to assign the macro. This is my I guess I think this was the one, right? Export Excel table. Let's see what was the macro name. Yeah, that's the macro name. So now let us try to do one thing. We can get this thing check. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to add couple of more numbers, and let's see if we can get those entries done over there or not. So before that, let's just open this, and let us delete all the records. So I'm going to delete them. Right, so we deleted the 5 rows. Perfect. And now let's say somebody has entered some new value. A new table is there, so we'll increase some values here. Let's say HHH, and the last time is again HHH, and the number is let's say 678, and date is today, which when I'm recording this video. And let's add this JHG as well, and let's say this is the last name, and this is the new employee ID, and the date is again, let's say 23rd of August. Now let's click on this and let's see if we are able to get these all the entries done or not. So I have clicked here, then the macro has run. Let me see now if I have got the values or not. So we have got the values, right? Perfect, very nice. So this is how you can insert all the entries by using this VBA code through the Excel. And just in case if you are wondering that why I have to delete the records first, because this is an insert statement. So every time when you press this entire table will be inserted, right? If you want to do some new entry, then we can prepare a separate code. But remember, whenever you run this will loop around all the values and export them, right? Like suppose if I click here again, I'll get the error. Why? Because it says changes you requested to the table were not successful, because they would create duplicate values in that index. So people who know the access, they know what it is talking about. It says that you can't actually enter the duplicate entries over here, right? Reason being because this is the primary key. Primary key doesn't allow you to enter the duplicate values, right? So I have removed the primary key from this table. Now let's try to run this code again and see what is going to happen. Now this time it worked. So if you come back to this access table, you see that now we have these double records, right? If I click again, then they will be inserted again. Let me click here. I've clicked here. Now again I'm going to click. Again I'm going to click. 3 times I've clicked, and now let's see what your table says. Let me just open the table again. Now you'll have a lot of duplicate entries. See this, right? So this is how you can actually prepare this code, and you can tell your team that once they are through with these entries, they are actually can click over here, right? So I hope you like this video, and this is the video number 125th. So watch all the rest of the videos as well. You can go to my website, which is excelvbalover.com, and you can click over here on the tutorials, and you can watch these videos. If you are looking for the VBA videos, you can click here. If you are looking for the Excel training, the training course, you can click on the training course. If you're looking for the videos, then you can click here. So right now I'm on the VBA videos, and there connect MS Access with the Excel. This video will be uploaded underneath this category, right? Similarly, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can watch all these videos under these categories. We have the videos on the VBA chart and pivots, arrays, add-ins, user forms, wonderful user forms, and then loop examples. So I mean, we are almost covering all the topics. So far, shortcut keys also there. 2 videos on the shortcut keys. We are covering almost 12 to 15 shortcut keys there. So we have the what if analysis, dashboard making. So everything is there for you, right? You can come to my YouTube channel and watch the videos, or you can come to this website and watch those videos, one and the same thing. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, right? If you like the video, please don't forget to click on the like. Thank you so much, and next time I'll come up with something more fantastic stuff, right? Bye bye. Thank you.